Can you really afford not to homestead? The hidden cost of modern living. So, here's the question, a simple one, yet one that carries profound implications. The kind of question you don't really think about until something breaks, or the power goes out, or groceries just don't add up anymore. The question, can you really afford not to homestead? And what does that even mean? Afford? Isn't it more expensive? Or is it cheaper? And homestead, isn't this just for people on big plots of land with goats and sourdough starter names? I mean, really, I may not live there. You may not live there. What does this mean? Not exactly what it is. In a world where convenience is king, where everything is a click away, all right? I mean, everything, DoorDash, ordering parts online or things you need online, everything. Have we considered the true cost of outsourcing our lives, of having everything done for us? Today on the Farm to Table Show Morning Edition, we're going to delve into this inquiry. We're going to explore stories of individuals who chose a different path, one of self-reliance, sustainability, and intentional living. First up, let's talk about Cheryl. She's in her 30s, two kids, a demanding job, living in the suburbs outside Tulsa. Her days are a blur. Boy, do I know that feeling. Instacart groceries, lawn care services, drive-through dinners. It's the modern rhythm familiar to many of us. Some of us feel stuck in that rhythm, and it just keeps on getting faster and faster and faster. But beneath that surface, cracks appear. Her grocery bill has surged by $200 a month. And to make it worse, her son's allergies have intensified. She's perpetually exhausted, anxious, and overwhelmed, if you will. Cheryl's story isn't unique. It's emblematic of a broader societal trend where we've traded competence for convenience. We've outsourced our food production, our health, and our most basic skills. And this trade-off comes with hidden costs. Financial. Families spend significantly more on processed foods compared to cooking from scratch. That busts the myth. The story was for such a long time that it's cheaper to eat out or it's cheaper to buy this stuff in the boxes. It's faster. It's more convenient. It's lower cost than eating healthy. It's more lower cost than if you cook and prepare everything. And what we're finding is that's simply not true. It's a myth. And because of that, our health is suffering. Our diets are rich in ultra processed foods. These things have been linked to various health issues, and more issues are coming out every day as the truth begins to come out, as people explore what's going on in their food and they dig in to know what's happening with our health and with our food. Truly, what we are putting into our bodies should be our medicine. Our food should be our medicine. And if we're putting in poisons and we're putting in chemicals and dyes and things we can't pronounce the name of, are we actually making things worse? Doctor visits are higher. Health issues, like we read with Cheryl's son, where things intensify, health issues come up. And we end up spending more money on health care than we did on our food. And if we'd have spent the right places on our food, we might not have had the health care issues. Another thing we give up is security. Our dependence on fragile supply chains makes us vulnerable to disruptions. We've experienced this recently, and just a few years ago, where pretty much the entire thing ground to a halt. Things were delayed. Supply chains are still struggling to recover from that time. And guess what? It happens with emergencies, whether it's a flood, whether it's a tornado, whether it's an earthquake, whether it's snow and ice storms, whether it's flooding. Any of these things can interrupt these vulnerable chains. And as I said before in other times, most stores only keep 3 days worth of food in inventory, and that's under normal circumstances, not in a rush to the store, not in a desperate time. Being reliant upon those vulnerable supply chains makes us dependent, and that's a security we can't afford to lose. Our skills, a basic erosion of self sufficiency, leaves us ill equipped to handle even the most basic and simple tasks. And the generation of repairing things, of fixing things, of keeping things around and making things last. But just the simple skills that we pick up the phone and we call somebody, or we get online and we order, and we no longer how to do anything. And it's not that we can't do anything, but we've just lost those simple skills that we can do for ourselves, and we regain some independence, and we feel a sense of pride and accomplishment. We want to get people's anxiety down, have their hands busy in gardens or growing things. That's what I'm saying. Because in essence, what's happened in situations like Cheryl's story, who are not unique, is we've relinquished control over essential aspects of our lives, leaving us dependent and worse, disconnected. Now, homesteading your way. Let's look at a solution. Let's look at somebody or peoples who are doing things a little different. Let's consider Jordan at 26, living in an apartment in Arkansas. He doesn't fit the traditional homesteader mold. Has no land. He has no livestock. He doesn't have sprawling gardens. Yet over the past year, he's transformed his lifestyle. He began cooking every meal from scratch. That's impressive. And it's the first place to start. Just start cooking for yourself. Growing herbs on his windowsill. You can grow this stuff anywhere. Container gardening, small space gardening. And he started embracing DIY, do-it-yourself solutions to a lot of his things, which reduced his expense. What was this? A 40% reduction in his grocery bill. But you know what? More importantly, a significant boost in his mental well-being. All right. Jordan's journey illustrates that homesteading isn't confined to rural settings or large plots of land. In fact, it is a mindset, a commitment to reclaiming aspects of our lives that we've outsourced. It's we have people in this world that have problems, and I think that the more that they lack confidence, they lack surety in themselves, and it comes from not doing things. It comes from not having skills. It comes from being reliant upon these systems, the convenience. Well, there's a confidence that comes in knowing you can do things, and anywhere in an apartment. We've had a story of doing. We told you about a story we were told about a person who's in a college dorm having microgreens and having a garden and doing fermenting and everything in a college dorm. It's crazy. I mean, what we can do in a small space. Let's consider the story of a couple who embarked on a year-long challenge to avoid buying groceries. It's a pretty big challenge, relying solely on their homestead's produce. Their experience, documented in a YouTube video, showcases the possibilities of self-sufficiency and the profound impact it can have on one's life. Now, I've recently read stories where people went out and they said, oh, it was supposed to have been cheaper and we're supposed to save money, but feed and this and that of animals and chickens and stuff, we could have been just buying eggs. Well, that's fair enough. But there's some security in knowing that you grow that. And yeah, it's hard work and it's going to take more time. But the reward is worth everything. Urban homesteading is something that is gaining traction. Even suburban. We hear our friend Monty, Suburban Sodbuster, and other people, in Detroit, initiatives like Food Field have transformed vacant lots into productive urban farms, providing fresh produce to local communities and fostering a sense of empowerment among residents. We see this all over in community gardens in inner cities and towns. We recently interviewed, let me see if I can find their names. I had it right here. I'm going to see if this is it. Hogs and Hens Urban Farm. Took a minute. We interviewed them at Okie Homestead Expo. They're from Dayton, Ohio. They're in the hood, yo. They're in a place. Dilapidated buildings, meth labs exploding, and they would take over these properties that would be abandoned from the city, and they would get them. And now they've started gardening. They've planted an orchard, all changing things inner city, inside urban settings. No place too small, no excuse. And these stories underscore a pivotal point. You need to hear me. You don't need a farm to homestead, whether it's a backyard garden, a balcony herb planter, or homemade cleaning products. Every small step towards self-reliance counts. Every small step. And that's all it is taking that first step, whatever it is. Like our friend Zach Bauer told us, just go in your kitchen and start cooking meals instead of buying them out. Cooking and actually with scratch, preparing out of recipes and stuff, meals. That's a big step. So here's our call to action. Here's what we can do about this. Start where you stand. Start exactly where you're at. Returning to our central question, can you really afford not to homestead? In an era marked by economic uncertainties, boy, I'm telling you, things are up, things are down, cost of everything is out of control. Health crisis, every time we turn on the news, there's something new, there's something going around. And environmental concerns, hey, the environment changes all the time, the world changes all the time. Okay. The answer leans towards no. Homesteading offers, I'm going to tell you what it offers. It offers a path to resilience, health, and empowerment. There's something powerful about knowing that you can provide your own food, about knowing that you can fix your own projects. All right. And guess what? Our mental and physical health will be a lot better. So, where do you begin? I'm glad you asked. Start small. Choose just one area, just one small task, whether it's cooking, like I was just talking about, or maybe it's gardening, or growing some vegetable herbs or growing some containers, um, you know, and maybe even sourcing out and finding farmers markets and stuff in your area, but something to where you're taking back local control. And or DIY projects like DIY cleaning solutions, or maybe you fix that little thing that you normally would have had somebody else do, and take that first step. That's all. Just take a step in the right direction, no matter how small it is. Another thing you can do, and this is super important, educate yourself. All right? Educate yourself. Utilize resources like workshops, online tutorials, YouTube University. All right? And you know what? More importantly, community groups to build skills. Get involved with local co-ops. Get involved with some local things. If there's an event fair, if there's a how-to, whether it's even one of the things that the big box stores put on from time to time on how to do certain things, get enrolled. Go learn those things and build up your individual skills of how to fix, how to grow, how to repair, how to reuse, get some of our hacks and put them to work. Okay. Now, here's the other thing, engage with the community. All right. Find you a community, an online community, better than that, an in person community, a local club, a local place. Find your community and engage with them. Share your journey, exchange knowledge. That's one thing, especially about the homesteading community. They love to share knowledge. They want to see everybody succeed, and they will share their knowledge willingly. It's very unique. And foster those connections with those like-minded individuals. So when you need things and you've got questions, you've got people that are there available to answer them for you. And maybe even if they live close by, willing to come help you and show you. And maybe y'all can partner on some things and do some bartering and trading, which is a whole other thing to help save money and help reduce down the stress. And you know what? If you'll bring your kids along, if you've got kids and you're thinking about this, or maybe even your grandkids, get them involved, show them how to do these things, get them involved with you, make them enjoy, show them, build skills in them, and watch them flourish and watch them enjoy doing these things and watch how much they pick up on it. And you'll see an amazing growth, especially if you've got kids that have been in the old video games in their hand all the time, screen time, and all that. Get them out in that. It may take a little while. They might argue, but ultimately they'll be glad you did, and you'll have a total different relationship. And remember, homesteading isn't about perfection. Nobody gets it right all the time. It may not look pretty. Does it work? That's all that matters. And how it works for you may not be how it works for me, and vice versa. Okay, that's just the nature of doing these things. Okay. But homesteading is not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about moving from the left of our self-reliant skill where you're totally dependent upon the system and everything is in boxes and bags and comes from stores to, moving a little further right on that scale to just a little bit more self-reliant, and it's a journey and it takes time. Okay. And each step you take is a move towards that, towards a more intentional, a more self-sufficient life. And ultimately, that's what we all want. Right, is to be a self-sufficient, intentional, rewarding life, and to be able to provide for our families and ourselves those things we need. not relying upon somebody to hand those things to us or some system to tell us what we get, when we get, and how we get. Just saying. So here's where I'm at. I'm encouraging you, take that first step. If you're not into homesteading or you're tiptoeing or you're thinking about it, just take that first step. Because in reclaiming these forgotten skills, we not only enrich our lives, but we also build a more sustainable and a more connected world. And ultimately, that's what we need. So, moving right along this morning, for those who haven't figured it out, and maybe you have and maybe you haven't, but if you haven't figured it out, this is Memorex, Ryan. I had to go to work today very early. In fact, I'll be at work before this even airs. Um, and so you get the Memorex version. Hopefully, I'll be back tomorrow for Friday to round out the week. But anyway, a lot of changes in our work schedule last minute today that threw everything into chaos. Sorry about that. Wish I was with you live. I'll try to have it up, be able to keep up with what's going on. But anyway, hope you all enjoyed it. I know Robbie's out with Bible study group today, but I hope everybody's well. Jack, I hope you're doing well if you're listening. Hope your day went good up in Oklahoma City. So let's move on so we don't have the redneck weather report. I'm sorry. Go over to Dyer Family Farm, and you can see Jack's redneck weather report over there. And when we're back live, we'll have it back. Anyway, so let's move into our homestead hack for the day. Keeping chickens cool. Keeping chickens cool. And I don't mean just keeping them cool because everybody wants them. I'm talking about keeping their body temperatures cool. Keeping chickens cool with frozen treats. The hack: on hot days, freeze their scratch greens, veggies, or fruit in muffin tins with water. Make it like little cubes. Toss one in the run during peak heat. They'll go crazy for it. Trust me. This is why it's great. It keeps the birds hydrated, helps reduce their heat stress, and it's a fun activity for the birds to peck around in it and chase that and all that stuff. So there you go. Have fun with that. So I don't know if it works. Y'all let me know and try it out. Maybe some of y'all have tried it out. Leave it down there in the bloop bloop comments and all that stuff. Let us know. I'll check back in with you later. So here's our quote of the day. Goes right in with what we were just talking about. Challenges are what makes life interesting. Overcoming them is what makes life meaningful. Joshua J. Marine. Hear that again. Challenges are what makes life interesting. Overcoming them is what makes life meaningful. Joshua J. Marine, quote of the day. So, moving on to upcoming events. Here we go. The Shindig Ozark Living Expo, April 25th and 26th, Newton County Fair and Rodeo in Jasper, Arkansas. Our friend Zach Bauer will be speaking multiple times both days. This event is absolutely free. All they ask for is donations for parking and that sort of thing. So if you're up there, you're able to make it to Jasper, it's a good thing. The Homestead Conference, April 25th and 26th, Waco, Texas. The lineup there is phenomenal. Google that up on the old Google machine or Facebook machine, the Homestead Conference, Waco, Texas. And you'll find information out about that, including the lineup and the ticket prices. But it looks like it's going to be a big event. Homesteading and Outdoor Expo, April 26th from 9 to 5. Port St. Lucie, Florida. So for all of our Florida friends down there, Homesteading and Outdoor Expo, the barn at Oleander's, where that's at, in Port St. Lucie. And keeping the busiest weekend in homesteading going, the first annual River Valley Homestead Conference and Poultry Show, April 25th through 26th, Sebastian County Fairgrounds in Greenwood, Arkansas. That's a backdoor one right there for Keith and I. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully we can get down there, because that same weekend, the much lauded, the much looked forward to, the much anticipated 10 Killer YouTube meetup, April 25th through the 27th, Lake 10 Killer, Oklahoma, at the Cherokee Landing State Park, and it's going to be at the Creek Shelter. RSVP to 10 Killer YT meetup at gmail.com. Now, I RSVP'd them. I know they're busy. I'm going to have to double check on that because I ain't heard nothing back. But anyway, no reply. But I'll get that taken care of. If you know it, reach out to Johnny and Ginger. Or not Johnny and Ginger. I got somebody else. Johnny and Christine. Boy, that just rolled right off the tongue too easy. Johnny and Christine. Let them know we're coming. Anyway, my wife and I were coming up for the weekend. Going to go hit the Red Fern Festival up there that weekend. Looking forward to it. Maybe do some thrift shopping. Now, moving on into May. The Mid-America YouTube Meetup at Lake Eufaula State Park is May 16th through the 18th. That's going to be at the Deep Fork Campground Pavilion. It's also where the Nature Center is at up there. MT Homestead is the host of that. So you can reach them at mthomesteadok@gmail.com. Now, I know there's information also on Facebook. So just search Mid-America YouTube Meetup and you'll find it. Fifth annual Shed Farm Homestead Festival, May 17th in Garland, Kansas. So if you're up in that area, might be something to look into. The Homestead, moving into June, the Homestead Festival, June 6th through the 7th. Hardison Mills near Columbia, Tennessee. That's on Rory Feeks Ranch down there. Big festival, large, a lot of top names, huge lineup as well as music and festival activities. That looks to be a great weekend right there. Same month, at the end, Modern Homesteading Conference in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, June 27th through the 28th. This is another one that's got a great lineup. School of Traditional Skills is involved there, many others. The lineup is crazy, but you can find out more at modernhomesteading.com. Then we're going to take a little time off in July and August, and then September we're going to start the month off in Ozarks Homesteading Expo, September 5th and 6th in Marshfield, Missouri. Great little event there. That campground is amazing. I say campground, that state park. Boy, I am all about the festival. I'm all about YouTube meeting right now. That city park, that fairground, if you will, is pretty cool. They got rodeo grounds and whatnot there. Anyway, the lineup there is awesome. I'm looking forward to being there again this year. A lot of vendors. It was a great event, very large. Anyway, go on to Facebook at Ozarks Homesteading Expo or Ozarks Homestead Expo. You can find it on Facebook, get all the details. At the end of September, Oklahoma Homestead Rendezvous, September 26th and 27th at the Southeast Expo Center in McAlester, Oklahoma. That one is interest in this is growing rapidly. Speaker lineups are getting locked in and getting better. I know that today, I think it was today, TNT Homesteading signed on. They're going to be talking about solar panels, solar power, that type of stuff. They live completely off grid here in eastern Oklahoma. And anyway, got to hear Terry speak at the New Beginnings Homestead Expo, and excellent speaker. So that's going to be a good one. Gardening with Leon, we've got a long list of people. It's going to be great. Keith and I will be speaking as well. And, of course, rounding out the year, Homesteaders of America Conference, October 10th and 11th in Front Royal, Virginia. Tickets are on sale now. They're running out fast, folks. If you're interested in something there in October out on the eastern area, but that's the granddaddy of them all. It's huge. The lineup is incredible. So I know a lot of folks going to be there. Nick Freitas is going to be there. The Warrior Poet is going to be there. Yeah, John with the Warrior Poet is going to be there. Man, the list of speakers is incredible. Looking forward to that. Anyway, folks, that's a wrap for today on the Farm to Table Show morning edition. Again, sorry I couldn't be with you live. Look forward to being back hopefully tomorrow. Thanks for joining us as we strive towards building stronger communities for now and in the future. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to hit the old like button. Give me the thumbs up. Share it with your friends. Oh, man, share. The more the word gets out, the more people know about us, the more we can reach with the message of homesteading and community. Subscribe to our channels on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Rumble, because that is the best way to stay connected and help grow the conversation about food, farming, and community. Until next time, keep your roots deep, keep your vision growing. Good food starts with great people just like you. And remember, we are #stronger together. Be a blessing to someone today. Hope it all is treating you well. I look forward to being back with you all, hopefully tomorrow live. And but anyway, hope you all have a blessed day. Be a blessing to someone. Just give them a smile. That alone will help. Anyway, we'll see you all on the other side, and I'm going to hand this over to Hank to take us on out of here.
No humans were harmed in the production of this podcast.